Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Akanta Mantalakaram, Yaptam Yena Tirasharam, Tatpadam Dashidam Yena, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Shamarambam, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryanta, Vande Guru Parampara. Very good morning. So we are seeing the lives of great sages. Although we are not able to go through the complete life history or the teaching, we pick up those important points which will trigger in us to learn about them more. So in the pursuit of happiness, we identified and learned that this is a never-ending process, because the pursuit is looking for that perfect happiness. And therefore, we learned we need to start looking at that which is not temporal, that which is eternal. But we know that to achieve anything in life, you need to work. Bhagavan says in the Gita, karma, karma, karma all the time. So therefore, you can achieve the happiness by action. And the law of karma tells you that every action that you do, you get the results for that, either immediately or in the future date. It becomes very clear that for everybody, work is the essential means to living. So therefore, there is no need for a God. So if you thought, they are called Purva Meenamsas, Charvakas, Nastikas, that if you work, you get results. So if you do more good work, you get more good results. And that is perfectly fine. So they can continuously live in this world based on their earnings, karma palam, we call it. But at some stage, they will see the futility of this. Then we go to the other extreme, who are intellectually superiors, they understand, they analyze the Vedas, Vedantas, and come to the conclusion that anything that you try to get to give happiness is temporal. Therefore, once it is known that it is temporal, their pursuit is not towards any worldly objects. They go into the Atma Vichara. But that path is like a razor edge, like Upanishad says. So in between, people like us, neither we are able to focus on our karmas correctly, nor we are able to go into the Vedantic path. Therefore, the life is a recurrence of karma palan, bhava punyas. So we don't know what to do. It's entrapment. For the Kali Yuga, for this times, this confusion is inevitable, because our intellectual capacity for Adhyatma Vishaya is very small. Our steadfast devotion to karma, dharma cannot be very good. Therefore, we must have a supplementary path to help us there. Therefore, you can look at it that instead of having janmas due to papa punya, there must be another reason for janma. That reason, the Vedas say, that you are embodied until such time your love is perfect. It's a very beautiful definition to look at it. That means we come into this world, take bodies, go through the sufferings and happiness, and it continues all the time Leave this karmas and papa punya aside. You can end this cycle if your love is perfect. Until such time your love is perfect, you have to embody it in some place, in some world. Therefore, if you embody there, your motive, therefore, is nothing about papa punya. It's about making your love perfect. So that means it's not my love perfect. Allow my children, my family, my friends, my work, my studies. Well, is love an emotion? Or is love a servitude? It's a big question, right? So every time when you are attached to something and you like to have the company of that person, that object, it gives you happiness, but that is not love, because that happiness will turn into sorrow. Even your loving partner, husband, father, mother, grandparents, when they are passed away, the love goes to the burial ground and stops there. You can't do anything physically. You carry that agony, it goes away. So then what is this true love? The true love can be that, of course, it's unconditional love. That which would be not requiring any attachment by you, because attachment is problem. If you don't have attachment to it, then will it go away? Well, it cannot go away. It is always with you. It is always with me how I am attached to it. No, it is you. The love that you have for yourself. It looks like very selfish, right? But that you have to love is not this jiva bhava, which is mesmerized with this chitta vritti, that which sees everything else. You see, if you need to see, no, I need to remember how Balamama looks, then I need to think of Balamama's picture in my mind. How does that movie star looks? I need to look at the picture of my mind. How my daughter looks, I must remember the face of the mind. But to remember myself, to recognize myself, think about yourself. Do you need your face to reveal yourself? No. Each of you recognize yourself. You don't need a face. There's no face. So you see, the perfect love is a love where you love the effulgence, Satsugam, Sachidanandam, the Atma within you. Because we cannot love that one, we look that which is pervading everywhere. The enveloping Atma is everywhere. Therefore, I call it God. I love this God. Therefore, the bhakti is a way to attain eternal happiness, but that bhakti cannot be out of an attachment, cannot be out of a servitude. But we have dasa bhavam. All this is to make yourself to move away from the attachment, give up the ego. All these are upayams. When you have the perfect love of God, you need nothing. Now, when you are in that love, one with the God, you have no more embodiments. Now, this path looks very interesting, right? There's no intellectual problems. You don't need to really analyze Shankara's very complicated slokas. You don't need to do this Patanjali's yogas, standing upside down. But how do we get this love? So to this satsang, we will invite a great saint of Bhakti Marga. But this time we'll take a mother, a woman, because love means mother, woman. The expression of love comes so naturally for women because they are inherent motherliness. So there are many, many, many women saints in the world, especially in India. In the Vedic times, you have Aditi, Vipala, Maitreyi, Gargis. Then in the later time, you have so many people like Jagubai, Mirabai, Sagubai, Muktabai, Andar. So we are going to see one who is really a pioneer in this. We are going back in 5th century AD in South India. A person called Karaikkal Ammaiyar. Karaikkal is a South Indian town. Ammaiyar means reverential mother. So Karaikkal Ammaiyar means the mother from the Karaikal. See, she is in the 5th century AD. And her life is not very well known. Maybe it's known within Tamil Nadu, and especially those who adopted her into the Shaiva Siddhantam as one of those Nayanmars. But it's a very unique life. In the 7th, 8th century onwards of the 14th, 15th centuries, the Bhakti movement was dominant all over the India. Jnaneshwar in the north, in Maharashtra, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, even before that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In South India, especially in Tamil Nadu, you have this Nayanmars of Saivas and Alvars of Vaishnava. Nayanmar is a Tamil word. Nayan means the leader, the Lord. Mar means dependent on it. So who depends on the Lord? And they worship Lord Shiva as the Parabrahma. Alvar means one who indwells in the Atma. But they worship Lord Mahavishnu as the Parabrahma. So the Saguna Brahma may be different for the religiosity. But this all happened later in the 10th, 11th century, especially after Ramanuja came in. All this came in. But before that, saints came in. Saguna Brahma was an important part of it. But Bhakti was important. The 1st century finishing in India, the Jainism, Buddhism was just eroding with all the dominance come through. Huge vigrahas are there everywhere. Buddha Vihara was there. Literature become so much of Jains and Buddhist literature. So Vaidika Dharma was slowly going down. So that's the time, like flowers, these people came up. So we talk about this Karaikkal Ammaiyar. So in this Chola kingdom, this town called Karaikal, in the late 5th century AD, there was a merchant called Dhanatatta. Dhanatatta. In those days, the merchants were even richer than the kings. The kings were custodian, they're true Kshatriyas. They take the tribes, take the land and protect them. But the Vaishyas, the traders are very, very pious and very rich. So one such rich Devadatta was there. And he's got a wonderful daughter. And they named her Punitavati. Punita means virtuous. Vati means one who encompasses. So the virtuous figure is Punitavati. This community, even today in south of India, is very religiously focused. They trade, but they spend a good amount of their earning to support Vedas, support Dharma, do a lot of charity work. And Punitavati is very fond of Lord Shiva. And the parents have given her education to worship the 7 Adiyars. Adiyars are the devotees of Shiva. So she attains right age for getting married. And there's a place called Nagapatnam. Nagai, it's another harbor town. There was a trader called Nithipati, and he's got a son called Paramatattan. So Paramatattan is a young man, very well educated, not so much about God, but he's not an atheist, but he's not so much into this, but very meticulous, focused. And they like Punitavati, they come and ask for them. And after all this arrangement, they are willing to get her married too. So the marriage happens. After marriage happens, because Punitavati is the only daughter to the parents, the father says, you stay at our house, and it's a taboo to stay in a father-in-law's house. Son-in-law says, no, I can't stay. But then they build a house for them in Karaikkal, and they live there in the same town, in the next street maybe. They're living comfortably. The young couple are living comfortably. She's a very pious woman, and she does everything that needs to be done as per the Dharma Shastra. It happens one day when he was in this office, Paramadattan, and somebody visits him and gives him 2 mangoes. In life, you see turning points come from very unexpected scenarios. We are not really seeking turning points. We get our brains are so much into this materialistic aspirations. We lost the childlike, awe-inspiring expectations. So we don't understand the turning points happening in our life. Turning points always happen. So here the turning points will happen to these mangoes. So the 2 mangoes from the same tree, the wonderful mangoes. Paramadattan sends these mangoes by a servant to the house. So Punitavati keeps it in the fridge or whatever. So Paramadattan comes for lunch later. But before he comes to the lunch, a Shivanadiyar, a devotee of Lord Shiva, comes for Bhiksha. So he comes, Om Namah Shivaya. He stands at the entrance of the door. In a pious families, and they really treat the saints in a great respect. So she calls him inside, and she just made rice, She has not made the vegetables yet. This is one of those virtues in our parampara, in Sanatana Dharma. Women first cooks the rice, and then she takes the fresh vegetables and make the curries and shambars and everything. The reason being that, when she cooking, somebody has come for food. Rice is better. At least you can give rice with curd. And so they make it. So he made the rice. She's about to make these curries, but the saint come in there. So she said, she asked him to sit and worships him. And he said, oh, I'm hungry. Give me something to eat. So she goes inside and take the rice, put some curd, put some pickles, and put them on. And then please eat. And then she also brings 1 mango. Because she takes it, there are 2 mangoes, one for myself, one for my husband. I'll give 1 mango. So she gives 1 mango, cut and gives it to the saint. He enjoys the mango and he eats it and blesses her, and he goes away. Then 1 o'clock, Paramadattan comes home, and so she, as usual, gives him the water to wash his face and put the lunch table and serve the lunch. He eats a sumptuous lunch, and I say, give me the mango as a dessert. So she goes there and bring the mango, and he eats it. Maybe it's a very patriarchal society that time, and so man eats first, and he eats it. He eats the whole mango. It's very lovely, and he is asking her to bring another mango. I got 2 mangoes, right? Give me another one. She's a bit shocked. She cannot really refuse to argue with him, because she goes inside the prayer room. What do I do? He's asking for another mango. Oh Lord, I don't have it. What can I do? The moment she thinks, in a few seconds, in her hand, there's a mango. So Shiva gives the mango to her. So she comes and gives a mango to him. And he looks at it, and then he cuts it and he eats it. not even giving to your wife. He eats it. This mango is enormously sweet. Sometimes people think, how is it easy? She goes there and Shiva, give me mango. Mango comes to him. Why I'm praying. I do all the upasanas and I study Vedanta. Nothing happens to me. God doesn't come to me. How can the miracle happen? Or maybe a legend, Puranas. No, it can happen. It will happen. It happens. When you go to the bank, you go there and put a plastic card into the hole of the ATM, money comes in. So everybody goes there, put their card, money comes in. So if somebody looks at it and say, oh, this box, I put something inside, money comes in. He takes a plastic card and puts it inside. Would money come to him? No. Because you must have an account. You must have the credit. You must have created all those savings for yourself. You can draw when you want it. So Punitavati has got so much of punyas. She never asked God anything. In a previous janma, this janma, you see, prayers of many kinds. Now, one is to go to prayers. Please God, save me from this pain. Or God, give me money. Or God, you gave me that, therefore I give you back. Prayachit. So all our prarthanas are like this, like Bhagavan says, Arthakameri. Worshipping God just for the glory of God, that is a true bhakti. You don't ask for anything. So when you don't ask for anything, you just worship God all the time. You show your love. For conversation, the external God that you're worshipping, He's going to be completely indebted to you. He's waiting to give you. You just have to look at him and say, what can I do? She didn't even go and ask for a mango. She didn't say, God, give me a mango. She said, what can I do? She gave a mango. That's number one reason. See, I just wanted to only give you the nuances of the story. The story you can read from the books. I wanted to really understand why it happens like this. Second reason, the mango came to her because it is not Shiva's mango. That's Shiva gave the mango. But it is her mango. She gave the mango to who? To the Shiva's devotees, Shivanadiyas. What is the lesson we learn from that? It is not, you make a lot of, laddu, payasam, sweet, pray to God. God will not eat it. So you're very sure it's all you. You do all the aarti and then take it and eat yourself. But instead of giving to God, give it to those devotees, give it to those people, give it to others. So the mango comes very fast because the mango is given to a devotee of Shiva, to a bhakta, to a saint. So when you give that to a saint, you have it. God will give you back. And the third important point, because this guy who eats it, he says, this is fantastic mango. It's so sweet, much better than the previous one. He's getting doubts now. Why is it so sweet? This is one way, it's a God's play. But this is very natural for God. God only gives you in abundance. So if you give one sweet, He won't give it 1,000 sweet. He's making it more glorious, more sweet. So never ever suspect that your prayers won't be answered. Don't ask for anything. Just live, love and live. So this man, Paramatattan, get very suspicious. These two mangoes came from the same tree. How is it one mango is much sweeter? He asked Punyavati, what is the reason? In fact, this is all written in a biography. See, one thing I wanted to say, this history is proven as a true life because the evidence of Punyavati's life history is there in Tamil Nadu, in Cambodia, in Vietnam. There are many, many monuments of the history. So Paramathattan is asking, the poet Shekila, who wrote this poetry, says, who gave you this mango? He's asked. Who gave you this mango? You could have asked, how did you get this mango? He said, who gave you this mango? So this woman feels very hurtful. Who else come to my house? It is a test of my virtue. She says, therefore, I have told the truth. See, normally, she could have told the truth before God gave me this fruit. Why she didn't tell you? This is where the character of Punyavadi comes in. First of all, I think there is a teaching in our Dharma that you never reveal the grace that you received from Mahans and Mahatmas or God. Because it's a personal experience for you. It is your glory. It's not you don't have bragging right. You know, I went there, God gave me in the dream, I gave me this, and I went to Mount Kailash, I got this blessing. You can say it, but you don't brag about it. This is your own personal thing. You never say this. And the other reason is that this may not be accepted or seen by anybody else. Therefore, she did not say. The other most important point, Punitavati's understanding of God is that he is Paramatma, like mother, like God, like father, like your loving person. They do. They come, they talk, they give you. There's nothing to brag about it. So she take it so natural. When you are in trouble, God will help you. So she did not tell. Now this man is asking now, who gave you this mango? You know, the man who made a trouble to Lord Ganesha and Subramanya before. So she tells him, this mango was given by Parameshwara. He said, what? Parameshwara gave you the mango? Are you joking? No. I went and asked for it because I gave the mango to the Shivanadiyar. I wanted a mango. I asked for it. The mango came. Oh, let's see. He says, let's see. Get one more mango. Let's see. She said, this is bad. He's testing the God. She cries and go inside the room. Last time she didn't ask for the mango. Remember? She said, what can I do? God gave the mango. Because it's a liability on God. Give it to her. This time she goes and cries, please God, give me another mango. Nothing happens. She cries more and more. She now asks. First time she asks, give me a mango. See the difference here. When you asked for it, Ishvara Pranidhanam happens. By a lot of your karmas, everything comes into picture. And God gives ultimately in a measured time. But when you don't ask for it, but you just love God, in time of distress, He gives you more than what you need. The first mango showed that. Anyway, eventually, God gives another mango. She brings it. Show it to him. He looks at it, her jaw dropped. The moment he goes to touch it, it disappears. See, this man, what did he say? Go and get another mango, let me eat. He didn't say that. Let me see. He got this tenacity. Let me see. So he was able to see it. Can't touch it. Mango disappeared. For Punitavati, this is normal. Because a communion with God is so intense. She thinks this is natural. But Paramathattan is like us. He get very worried. This woman who I married, my God, I cannot touch her. She is so powerful. If she can invite Lord Shiva to come to her, who am I? See, this again shows our mentality. You know, when we an average, like I'm talking about myself. So when you see somebody who is very pious and great, my ego comes in. Why is he pious? No, I don't need to do that. I suspect him. He's got a motive. So we always find a way to ignore the grace that is coming in front of you. So if I know my wife has become such a pious person, I got a guru. I will use it to find redemption for myself. But he got scared. So he is generally moving himself away from her. And he finds a way to travel. He said, look, I want to go for trade. So he built the ship and said, I'm going to Cambodia, Malaysia, and all these countries. He goes there sailing for a few years, comes back with lots of money, but goes to a town called Madurai. And then he goes there, he finds another lady, marries her, and leaves her. Punitavati is just expecting her husband to come. She's doing her life. But the news spread out. Oh, this is man living there very happily in Madurai. Society in those days will take undue interest to bring happiness to your family. Society used to help families to be together, at least in those days. So this neighbors say, look, Punitavati had to be reunited with the husband. So they build a palanquin and they all take up Punitavati, go to Madurai. On hearing that she's coming, this time she got a child as well, a daughter, comes with his wife and daughter, runs and then falls in front of the palanquin. Before even Punitavati gets down, he falls flat on the floor. Oh, Mahashakti, forgive me. I know why you have come, but I cannot take you as my wife. And everybody is surprised. In those days, the man falling at the women's feet, so wife's feet, kind of patriarchal society it was. And he says, no, this is not ordinary woman. She has got Shivamsam. She's Mahashakti. She's Shivam herself. Everybody please pray to her. And then she looks at the Punitavati and says, I have got a daughter now. For my daughter, I put your name as Punitavati. Such a reverence I have on you. I can never live with you. Please bless me. And Punitavati got shocked. And everybody prays to Punitavati and she got very shocked. And she signs her father not to really push Paramratan anymore. That itself, she realizes that, why do I have this body anymore? This body with muscles and all this vanity and the beauty that I have, my cheeks, my eyes, my breast, and everything is for my husband. But he now says, this is not for her. So why do I have to carry this burden? She prays to Lord Shiva, take this away. Make me a ghost. Take away beauty away. See, this is a very interesting one. You see, you have Mirabai, Andal. They have a different kind of love to God. They want to marry the God. Punitavati is very different. She doesn't want, in those days, women's body is an asset for us. I say it with very great regret and fear when I say this. The women is taken as a property of man. Women has to be beautiful, servitude. In spite of that, there have been dharma patnis for many. And therefore, maintaining the beauty is an important point of womanhood. She says, take it away. So, like, give me, like a female cow and bad teeth and shriveled breast and bulging belly, dangling elbows, bone, like a skeleton, elongated shanks, fangs. In Tamil, there's a word called pay. let me become a pay. Pay means ghost, in Sanskrit there are different words, Paishasham, Pishasham, Vetalam, Bhutam, Ganam. In fact, in the Manikavashika says, one of the other saint, great saint in Saivism says, pay is also a life form. Kallai, Manidarai, Payai, Ganangalai. The Shivaganas are an elevated pay. Pay is a part of your subtle nature, your chittam, chittavriti, is the manas, the subtle body, sukshma sariram. When the bodies fall down, the sukshma sariram wanders until it gets another body. The state in which that sukshma sariram stays could be in many, many different terms. But generally, we call it, in Tamil, it's called pay, bhuta. When this is with full of lust, hunger, desires, and if the lineage is not thinking to them, not giving them the true love, this is where the love comes in. All this shraddha was not done. Its attachment to food has not gone. The liver is not there, abdomen is not there, but the hunger will be there. I remember somebody was saying, the diabetic, the leg was amputated beyond the knee. But he has a sensation of itch on the heel. He has got a heel. See, the neurons, the mind has got this map. The physical part is not there. So this kind of feeling, sensation, they don't belong to the gross body, they belong to the senses, sukshma sariram. So if you don't have the understanding and the renunciation and the jnanam, so when we disembody it, hunger will be there. So when some ghostly form goes and eat in the graveyards, they call it pishasam and all that. So let's not go there. But she wanted that form. But not the lustful one, but a pay form, a form which has no body. In other words, she stays 50% of it. We are all pays, we are pays because we have this subtle body inside. And we got a physical body and a skin, All our beauty is just a skin, babe, If you peel my skin off, and you and I are not different. Same yucky numbers. But when body falls down, we become the pay. So she wants that form. Why that form she wants it? See, Shiva is always depicted as someone in the graveyard. This is Parabrahman's one particular form, annihilation, graveyard. The departed souls also roam around these graveyards. But is there a reason she wanted that? She's very intuitive. Her desire is always to see God. Always seeing God. So Parabrahman, in the form of Lord Shiva, annihilates everything. Everything is annihilated. When everything is annihilated, see this is called samharam. There's a nitya samharam happens every day. Then, when you go to sleep, nitya samharam. Peaceful, absolutely free, no worries. Samharam happen because all your desires gone, all your body is gone, all your relationships gone, attachments gone. Even your ego is gone. Who doesn't like a deep sleep? Who is afraid to go to this samharam? We invite them. In the Pradosha Kalam, in the evenings, Lord Shiva is getting ready to bring everybody to do Nitya Samharam. I cannot go to the doctor and say, please give me a medical certificate because, I go to sleep now. Give me a certificate, I'll get up tomorrow morning. Would you do it? No, you look good, your heart is good, your BP is good. I can give you a certificate for that, but I cannot give you a certificate, you'll get up tomorrow morning. Nobody can give you that. God can give you that. So then Nitya Samharan happens. He is practicing you. We forget this. That's why Vedanta picks up the Sushupti as an important event to contemplate. We forget. Right? We even ignore, he is sleepy. Sleep becomes not as a upakaranam to understand, but becomes an avastha which is inevitable. Then there's Ayush Samhara. So I do this every day, and one day I'm gone. God says, don't get up in this body, you get up in another body. Why? I don't want to leave this body. No, he said, I'm going to give you a better body. No, my body. What is it called? Abhinivesha. We saw in Patanjali Sutra. Abhinivesha. We think this is us. He takes you away forcefully and give you another one. That's why people are feared of Shiva, because you have Abhinivesha. This body is if I'm born as a spider and if you try to hit me, I will say, this is my best body. I forget my previous body. Then he also do Mahapralayam. He also bring all the beings, everything he destroys, everything comes into the Prakriti, become ashes. See, when you burn something, it becomes darker. When you further burn them, it becomes white ashes. That's how it comes to, Kanchi Pariva says, in the form of Narayana and Sri Krishna in a Nilamega, in the darkness, Parabrahma shows everything comes to this state of oneness. Then further, if you dwell or deeper on that, that becomes white ashes. So all this becomes ash. That's why the ashes is there on Shiva's body. It's not that Shiva takes a vibhuti and put this thing on his body. It's not decorating his body. The configuration of Shiva's Vigraham is that he's white because at Mahapralayam, everything becomes there. Now, here there's a little caveat. How does he know this? Shiva himself made it to be known, to say it out to others. He kept some of those Shivaganas, ghostly figures around him when he does this dance. So this are 5 acts of Shiva: creation, sustenance, assimilation, hiding, and grace. And it's a play, so he dances it. So these few ghostly figures around Shiva, which are not submerged in Shiva, but Shiva's will, they can witness this dance so that they can record that for the next generation of creation comes through. So Punitavadi thought about it. Therefore, the best seat in the house is that seat of sitting very close to God, watching it. For that, I need a body of a pay. That's why you got a pay icon. So her body changes into that. So everybody worships her. She's like a skeleton. Unless she walks around all the temples. Now her vision is to see the God. Taken the form now, I got the right body. Now I need to see the Shiva, Lord Shiva. She goes to each temple and sings wonderful songs. Those days, there is no Shaivism, Vaishnavism. It's coming later. But she has become a Saivite saint later, adopted to her. And her songs and her poetry is the one that's a pioneer of Tamil literature. In fact, she goes around, right? She goes around. And then finally she realized that I need to go to Kailash. Lord Shiva is dancing there. she goes to Kailash. And there it is full of white snow. Every whiteness, for her, it is like she was Bhuti. So she walks with her head because she feels that putting the feet there may be disrespectful. So Talaiki, the head is going down, and she walks. Even now, if you go to Mount Kailash, when I had opportunity to travel there and do the parikrama, you see this Tibetan devotees. Unbelievable. What they do, they have a sack, and they wear the sack on as a glove. No chappals, no shoes, nothing. And then they will raise the hand like this. You can see that Mount Kailash is there, and the parikrama is around 56 kilometers long. They'll raise the hand, and then they fall flat on the floor. Wherever they fall, they use the hand and draw a little arc. Take the next step there. Do another fall. We were going around, first day, 18, the next day 18 kilometers. Like we take a tour, and some comes in the horses. We wearing all this gears, wind cheater and snacks to eat on the way. These people are, it just melts your heart. I saw a lady with a child on his head falling. So they everything. You may have a question, how can you physically walk with the head? First answer is because she has got a very ghostly body she can do. But you must understand the Lakshyartham in this. Sometimes, especially in South India, you see, they go and then shave their head to the god. Who cares about the hair? Obscene. But we give it to God. That is symbolic of those days, kings take the crown away. Your ego had to go. So when a head is on the floor means my ego is gone. So it is not, so don't try to attempt when you go to Mount Kailash or somewhere, I want to walk with the head. No need to do that. What it means is that surrender your ego completely to God. Feet is not bad, Feet is what God has given feet to walk. So walking with the feet in a temple is not disrespectful, provided you don't have an ego. So he goes like that. She goes goes to Mount Kailash, and when she almost reaches the top of it, Parvati looks at this skeleton coming there with the head down, and he tells Shiva to Lord, who is this person coming there? What have you done to draw her like this? How are you going to give her, bestow the grace upon her? So he says, in Tamil, this goes like this: Varum ival nammai penum ammaikan. Varum ival. The lady that is coming there, ival, nammai means us. Penum means nourishing. Ammai Khan. Khan means see. Ammai Khan. This is the mother. What Lord says. The person who's coming there is the mother who nourishes us. Unbelievable, right? God says that devotee is nourishing me. True love. Absolute love. Of course, God is Anadi. He has no, his name is called Taili in Tamil. No mother for him, no father for him, nothing for him, no relationship for him, all alone. Taniyan, lonely person. So he says, she got this body by requesting, and she got it from me. When she comes near there, before even Punitavati can talk, Lord Shiva says, call her Ammaye. Ammaye means, oh, my mother, oh, Reverend Mother. And she calls back, Appane, oh, my. See, Appane got two meanings. In Tamil, Appa means father. Pap. Appa. But sometime out of affection, out of exceeding love, mother will call the son Appa. Vapa, Popa. Appa becomes a word to call the son. So Lord Shiva has given Punitavati the motherly status. Mother Punitavati calls Lord Shiva Appane. So I think it goes beautifully in Tamil poetry, but I will not dwell there. But of course, you need to give something. So Punitavati just stands there and Lord Shiva says, so what do you want? She asked, Iravada Anbu Vendu. Iravu means death. Iravada means deathless. She's not asking for deathlessness. She's asking for Iravada Anbu Vendu. Anbu means love. I need unending love. I need the perfect love. I need the pure love. So there is an insight here. The love is not something you can offer. Love is not an emotion. I cannot just love a person. I can pretend to be loving. I can show attachment. I can show desires. The love that comes out need Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara has to give you grace to love. So Shani, give me that Iravada Anbu Vendu. Then she asked, Piravame Vendu. I don't want to be born again. See, she didn't ask, I don't want to die again. See, it's the beauty of this. Because she's already born. And she knows she has to die because this body is not good enough. But when I die, I don't want to have another embodiment. So Piravame Vendu. I don't want to be born. Then she says, Meendum Pirappin, if I am born again, Unai Maravame Vendu. I should not forget you. How can I forget it? You see, when you get embodiment, because you say, if I am born, we are born, I've got to be an embodied one. The law of Prakriti is when you are born in the mother's womb, suppose you are born as a human being, your mother's womb, it's a comfortable, holy place, but it's also a hell for you because it is dark, it is full of filth and full of blood. You don't know what to do. And because you are not Jadam, you are having all the consciousness, you are a pay, you have all the previous Janmas thing. You don't know what is going to happen to you. You struggle. And then the time comes, the womb opens, you are getting come out. And if you go like this, you'll struggle. Therefore, the Shada Vayu comes in and erases your memory. Erases memory. The little memory that is there, that's why the child, when it's born, it looks like the grandparents. Somebody, or then you can see in the next first few days, child's face changes because it's slowly forgetting all this. So it's a blessing. Forgetfulness is a blessing. But here, she's asking, when I die, and when I'm born again, let me not forget you. That means, because she's not going to be worried about Punarjanma, Pava Punya, because she's completely given to God. Therefore, the only thought she will have is God's thought. And that should not be gone by the Maya. Then she asked, so now if I'm born again, I will have this thought about you all the time. Arava means one wearing the snake. Ni aadum bodu un adiyin keel naan irukka vendum. That is, when you are dancing. See, she's putting a request. She never asked for anything to God before, right? Now she's making everything perfect. I should not. I should have the eternal love. I should not be born again. If I am born again, I should never forget you. And if I am born again, oh, the snake-clad Lord Shiva, I would like to stand underneath your dancing feet. For that reason, even today, there are 63 Nayanmars in Tamil Nadu, Shaiva devotees. She is one of them. In fact, she is the foremost of them. But she's the only one who is seated. Everybody will be standing there and praying to Lord Shiva. She's the one seated with the picture I put there with the genre. That honor she's given to. In fact, I would strongly recommend, this 63 of 9 Mars and 12 Alvars, 75 people's life history. Now, if you read it every day, 75 days in 3 months, you get fulfillment. The Lord Shiva says, okay, you go now to Karaikkal Ammaiyar in South India. Vada means banyan tree. Aranya means forest. So the holy place where there are a lot of banyan trees. Vada vriksham is a banyan tree. Now, sometimes we mistake it. Here, Vatam is, we take it as in Tamil, Vadak, north. No, Vatam is banyan tree. So in Tamil, it's called Karaikkal. You go there you will see our dance. So she goes there, and because God has given her that grant, the boon, she is forever sitting there and witnessing Lord's dance. So Lord Shiva is depicted in South India. That philosophy is shown in both Shaiva Siddhanta of Kashmir and South India is very unique. They are almost same, subtle differences. Here, Lord is shown, Paramatma is shown as 5 dancing figures. You all know that famous Chidambaram, called Chit Shabha, Jnana Shabha. Chit means consciousness. It's also called Kanaga Shabha, Ponnambalam, golden hall. The Madurai is called Rajata Shabha, silver assembly. Then you have down south, you go to Tirunelveli, is a port town. It's called Copper Sabha, Tamra Shabha. There's one place called Kutralam, it's called Chitra Shabha. But the Thiruvalangadu is called Ratna Shabha, ruby place. So that place is where Mahashakti comes as Kali. If you read the Lalita, she came down to conquer the Sumba Nishimba, the 2 demons. It's a Purana story. So Kali killed them, and the aggression has come out, and she was dancing, and that destruction is Mahashakti. Who can stand? Destroying everything. And to pacify her, Lord goes to Thiruvalangadu, and she dances there, but to attract her back, to bring her serenity. But Ambal was so ferocious, and just to show the world the truth of Advaita Anubhuti, she says, you win me over the dance, then I'll come and merge with you. Then Lord Shiva dances there, and there he does what's called a Urdhva, where his right leg, there's a poetic, romantic approach that his left, that ear state has fallen down, and then his right foot on, right leg, right here. He takes the right foot, while dancing, he take it up and take the right foot straight up here, then put this back. And of course, in a yogic way, you would say that this is Kundalini Yoga. You see, Shiva's dance happening, the whole thing is created. It's atomic dance. It's in the quantum physics, we talk about the oscillation of the particles, perennial oscillations. In the picturization of it, when he is dancing, the Gana standing there. There's one Gana in a pay form is Bharata Muni. The Bharata Muni learned dance of art, the art form of dance. Then there was Narada Muni. He learns Sankidam. One is Nardanam, Sankidam. And Patanjali, he learned yoga. And Panini, take Vyakaranam. So all these people are, all these celestial beings are getting the knowledge, and then they're propagating that for this next dance, next creation, and things will go on. Whereas this mother, that's the time she was called Mother Karaikkal Ammaiyar, she's called. She's eternally pleased and sitting there, listening to this all the time. So even today, if you happen to go to South India and if you visit this thing, Thiruvalangadi is a very small place, but beautiful temple there. If Cambodia, if you go to Cambodia, there is a statue of Karaikkal Ammaiyar as a gold form with a shrunken, hanging, long breast, bones, tummy inside, and fearful looking, because that's how she wanted herself. And it's just amazing life she had. And then in doing that, see, when she writes, she writes, Pirandu mொழி பயின்று பின்னெல்லாம் காதல் சிறந்து. She says in the first, I think she did many things first in Tamil literature. There's a verse one called Andadi. Andam means end, Adi means beginning. Andadi means when a poetry finishes, the last word becomes the first word of the next poetry. So she wrote the Tiruvandadi. She's the first one to write in Tamil in 5th century. Then she wrote she sang what's called Patikam. Patikam means, Pati means 10. Dashakam in Sanskrit. Patikam, 10. So she sings in 10 verses, call it Patikam. And later, when Thirunavakarshar, Sambandar, Manikavashar, all those saints of Tamil, they produce so much of wonderful Tevara, Tiruvashakam, Pasurams, and Alvards. The Patikam is the Yapu, the Ilakkanam, the grammar was given by Karaikkal Ammaiyar. Therefore, it's called Mutta Patikam. And she also followed, like in Upanishads, in the Patikam, she will do the 11th one, she will have Palashruti. So that's called Tirukadai Kap. Kadai means end. Of course, later, Shaiva scholars and Vaishnava scholars, and they blossomed into so many beautiful poetry. So she made that poetry. So therefore she's a pioneer mother. She showed that love is the only thing that you need. In fact, later Shaivism becomes love is God, Shivam is love. But we have to understand that love is a perfect love, absolute love. And that love is not something that comes out of emotions. Emotions is an expression of love. It's a demonstration of love. The emotion will come and go. It is not servitude. Dasanubhavam is again an example of expression of love. That is not love. Otherwise, you will always be outside the God, serving him, never be one with him. Love is understanding the inseparable, inevitable, indwelling, all-pervading Atma, which is as God externally. So in every Saguna Upasana we do, every worship we do, every prayer we do, every service we do, everything that we give it to others, we give as if it doesn't belong to us. No. Physical object is fine. That's why even the Apurushaya, all these Veda mantras, they say it is not written by me. We know the Rishis are written. Rishis come out of the Rishi's mind. But it is not there. Such a sacrifice is needed. So with that, we will stop. Om Ashadoma Shadgamaya.
Om Ashadoma Shadgamaya.
Amashoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityoma Amritamgamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Raja.
Thank you, Raja.
Thank you very much, Raja. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice.
We really enjoyed your story.